welcome to another edition of Academic Matters. I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost at LaSalle University. In my first segment, I'm joined by Dr. Czekanski, who is the Associate Dean for the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Kathy also wears a second hat as the Chief Nursing Officer for the school as well.
Correct.
Kathy, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Could you give the folks at home a little bit of your background and what led you into nursing in the first place, and then maybe nursing education, and then how you ended up here at LaSalle?
Okay, sure. I always wanted to be a nurse when I was a young girl and did a volunteering while I was in high school. My father was in the military, so I had an opportunity. I was called a JANGO, a Junior Army Navy Guild Organization volunteer. And so I was down to Philadelphia Naval Hospital volunteering, and I thought it was pretty cool stuff. So I ended up going to Villanova to earn my BSN and practiced nursing in a variety of settings. My first job was at Thomas Jefferson Hospital, but had 4 children and worked in a variety of ways, part-time, full-time, whatever. And then finished a master's degree in 1993 at the College of New Jersey, and developed an interest then because I had done some part-time clinical education and knew that I wanted to get into education at that point. So my first academic full-time job was at Our Lady of Lourdes in Camden in their School of Nursing.
Okay. And then from there you ended up at Jefferson?
Jefferson. I taught at the Jefferson School of Nursing for 12 years. And then I've been at LaSalle now for 4 years.
For 4 years, right.
Yes, I came in as the director of the graduate nursing program at that time.
And then just recently, I guess, July, you were named...
August 1st, I guess, is the official
Associate Dean, right, when Dean Zane Wolf stepped down and the new Dean, Brian Goldstein, came on board, then there was a need for an Associate Dean, and you were the pick.
Yes, thank you, and so far, so good. Yeah, it's been a few months now, and it's because I've been focused since I've been here on both the graduate and the RN to BSN programs. While I know undergraduate education very well from my years at Jefferson because that was my experience, I'm learning more now about the undergraduate program here at LaSalle because, again, I didn't work as closely with it before.
Right. And the program is actually a pretty complex program that we have at LaSalle. I say it's soup to nuts. It's, as you point out, it's RN to BSN all the way up to the doctorate in nurse practitioner.
Right. Or doctorate of nursing practice.
Nursing practice.
Right. So it does include nurse practitioners. We have nurse administrators in there. We have nurse anesthetists in there. So, yeah, any advanced practice nurses are in the doctoral program.
And BSN degrees, MSN degrees?
Right. And then we have, in the MSN program, we have the partnership with the anesthesia program. So we provide the prerequisite courses for that, and then they take their classes. It has been it's been the Frank J. Tornetta School of Anesthesia at Montgomery Hospital, but now with the new Einstein partnership, it's with them. So the students do their anesthesia classes there, but earn a LaSalle degree. So we actually just attended their
they just
festivities
celebrated their graduation ceremonies last week. Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. It was a conflict I couldn't avoid. But,
it's quite an event that they do to celebrate. They do 27 months of the program intense, so they're on call for covering the ORs and stuff. So they are ready to celebrate.
They had a reason to celebrate and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes. And they just received their full 10-year accreditation notice. We just got, they got a verbal commitment, but we got the letter for it just a couple weeks ago. No citations, and even the accreditor commented that it's so unusual to get citation-free for 10 years.
That's really good news.
Yeah. So it's a great partner.
And it shows what a great program it is for folks who may be interested in a second career or are interested in nursing and what else can you do? It's just not, the traditional care that we think of. The whole field is changing.
Yes.
And I guess nurses are expected to do a lot more. And how are we preparing our students to meet the needs of what I would say is a constantly changing job description?
I think back of when I started in nursing practice, and again, my first job was at Thomas Jefferson, and people would stay in the hospital for a week to have their appendix out, and that could be the norm. And now we know those patients don't even go to the hospital. So the complexity of care for even our undergraduate student has certainly changed. They go in with all their patients are acutely ill and requiring high-level assessment, knowledge of medication, what to react to as far as responses from patients to treatments, et cetera. So I think the requirements are a lot more, but we're still doing it in the same time frame. So the challenge is, incorporating a lot of content with clinical practice experience is really making the most of all of it because it's a lot of knowledge that they need to gain.
You mentioned that, the types of patients that nurses are dealing with come in a more acute condition. Is the job becoming more and more stressful for folks who are nurses?
I think, probably, and I don't know exactly when it started. It was after I left actually being on the hospital floor where they started doing 12-hour shifts. So for the nurses, that became a nice schedule for them to work 3/12s rather than 5 days a week where I was used to working that. But I do think the demands for them are high during that period of time. But there is now literature out saying that can you really function at that high level for 12 hours without errors? And again, because of the complexity of care, there really is a lot of attention made to safety along with quality of care. So, I do think you could say, oh, they have 4 days off a week, but, what is the safety to the patients?
What's the quality of the care when you get into hour 9, 10,
exactly.
11 going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Are the standards changing for what nurses are required to know as there are advances in medicine? I'm sure that must constantly change, and your challenge is to make sure the curriculum is up to date.
Right. So we have our undergrad students prepare to take the National Council exam, which gets them licensed, but then as our accrediting body has standards that they want incorporated too. So there is a lot of safety, quality information that needs to be in there, informatics information, genomics, genetics, and you start to wonder, how can we get all this in and meet the requirements needed for them, because basically we want to know they can get out and be safe practitioners.
Yeah. Is it moving towards an occupation that's going to require master's level?
Well, right now the trend is that advanced practice roles may move to doctorate entry, and some schools, especially further out west, have gone to do that. We have, say for instance, our nurse practitioners earn that title after a master's degree and can go on and earn the doctorate, but there is talk that at some point that will be required. The first group that they see that being absolutely required are the anesthetists, probably in the 2025 range.
Okay, so a little bit further.
So, again, recognizing the complexity of what's going on for that.
Now, the demand for nursing is at an all-time high. I mean, we look at our enrollments, and the School of Nursing is literally bursting at the seams with the number of students that we're bringing in. Are there any particular areas of folks at home or watching this, or they're thinking about nursing as a career? Are there some specialties that are more in demand than others, or is it just across the board where there's a lot of demand?
There's a lot of focus on the need for more primary care providers, so even grant funding to preparing advanced practice nurses as nurse practitioners, because there are not enough doctors for doing primary care. They've gone more into specialties, so that is, especially with the aging population, seem to be the biggest area of need. Right now, hospitals, especially in the Philadelphia area, I think they haven't seen people retire that they thought might. So the new graduate may get out and not find a job immediately, but when they're compared to BSN versus an associate degree prepared nurse, they obviously have a much better opportunity. And some of the hospitals have gone to only hiring BSN nurses. And the job is not only in the hospital anymore either, too, because there's many more jobs in the community than there used to be, too.
Yeah,
because that's where care is shifted.
Where care is going to, right? And I know the hospitals want some various certifications or I forget
Magnet level is the
level,
designation that a hospital has for excellence in nursing. And as part of that, they show that they have a percentage of nurses that have baccalaureate degrees, have certifications. So yes, they're kind of upping the bar all the time to kind of show that they meet that designation.
And then they're increasing the requirements for what our students need to know. And,
right. Well, one thing that has helped our into BSN population is those are students who are prepared at either a diploma or associate degree, and they need to get that BSN or baccalaureate degree to be able to stay in employment. So there's talk about, for some of them, they have to earn that baccalaureate degree within 10 years of graduation.
Oh, okay.
So that is some people who are very happy working many, many years at the institution they're at, and then you say you have to go back to school. So we try and make it worthwhile.
And we give them some options, though. They don't have to come into the classroom. That actually they can complete that degree online.
Right.
Or mostly online.
Right, yeah. So we feel we have a nice curriculum where we bring them in for 2 days just to get acclimated to their classmates and the Blackboard course management system. And then we try and make all of their assignments very relevant to the workplace so that they can do a project that their work might find useful. So that part, I think, that they can see a tangible benefit for it, because some of them don't really want to come back to school. But once they get engaged, we hope that they're finding it helpful.
Yeah. And then do they need a clinical placement, the nurses in that particular program, or is the hospital they're working in?
They can use that. They have to have some clinical practice experiences, and so you can use a combination of community-type agencies. You can build in assignments within their workplace is fine, too. But they just have to be structured assignments that are geared towards clinical, and that's per accreditation. Okay. They kind of designate what you have to have.
Okay. And we're just about out of time. I wanted to talk about some other areas of linkages. I know we're doing some work with our MSN and our public health degree, our master's in public health. We've got a joint program with our MBA program. So the field of nursing is really expanding and moving into lots of different areas that you might not think of when you think of nursing in general.
Well, even that magnet initiative, so we've had nurses who have had maybe a master's in health administration, but what Magnet's looking for is a percentage with master's in nursing. So having the joint degree with the MBA program is great for those administrators, because they get that MSN piece and get the skills from the MBA. And then the new partnership with the public health.
Okay, Kathy, thank you. We're out of time. I appreciate it. Maybe you'll come back and tell us more about what's going on in the field of nursing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this segment of Academic Matters. When we come back, I'll be joined by Dave Jones, who is the chair of our marketing department in the School of Business. Please stay tuned.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescuer, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today, and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part. New research tells us that just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma.
the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back to Academic Matters. Once again, I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost at LaSalle University. In this segment, I'm joined by Dave Jones, who is the chair of the marketing department, I almost forgot, in our School of Business. Dave, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Dave, tell the folks at home a little bit about your background, how you got interested in marketing in the first place, how you ended up at LaSalle, and what might have attracted you to LaSalle in deciding where to teach.
Sure. Like a lot of people involved with marketing, I'm not originally from a marketing career. I was trained as a psychologist. I was interested in psych as an undergraduate. I worked as a psychologist while I was at Virginia Tech, and when I was just finished graduate school. However, I'd always worked my way through school and restaurants, and ironically, I became interested in wine, in the marketing and selling of premium wine. When I was in my graduate program, before I started practicing as a psychologist, the Marriott Corporation was willing to bring me on as a sommelier in one of the Marriotts, and I became really interested in the marketing end of wine. While I worked as a psychologist, I had stopped my studies for my PhD. I'd finished my master's in psych and had switched over to an MBA. That led to me, in turn, getting a wine store and a restaurant and a bakery with some friends in Blacksburg, Virginia, which in turn led to me become very interested in marketing. My career interests switched. Psychology and marketing are quite similar to one another. I then taught for a while at Virginia Tech and at Radford University while I was completing the final aspects of my MBA. And at that particular point, I chose to pursue a PhD in marketing and do an academic career. And the rest, it's 25 years ago, the rest is history.
Okay. And so you've been at LaSalle for the last 25 years?
Yeah, about 22.
22, okay. What was it about LaSalle that attracted you in the first place and then to stay on for that long a time?
Really clearly it was mission and vision. I'd done my undergraduate work at Chapel Hill. I did my graduate work at Virginia Tech. I'd always been in state schools. I taught in the state system after getting my PhD in marketing in North Carolina. And I wanted to be in a place that was a little more centered on some sort of mission and vision. And when I was in the marketing looking, I didn't even know about LaSalle. I was interviewed at LaSalle. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed the people I met. And that combined with Philadelphia pretty much closed the deal for me. And that was, like I say, about 22 years ago. And since then, the mission and vision piece has become even stronger.
And you've participated in a number of leadership activities to promote Lasallian values, to understand the mission.
Yes.
Can you describe a little bit of that?
Due to the aging of the brothers, a program was started about 15 years ago called the LaSalle Leadership Institute. And it simply was the brothers were not being replenished at the rate that they were many years ago. And the Christian Brothers in general wanted to make sure that the general Christian Brothers values, teaching, and mission and vision were to continue. And the way they thought to do that was to take basically lay people out of the university community and out of the administrative community and sort of introduce us to the fundamentals and background of the Lasallian mission and vision, the history of it, and pretty much in the group that I went through, how we could incorporate that into our day-to-day life, into teaching, into the running of a department in my case, and even down to the recruiting of faculty and the developing and mentoring of faculty. And it was probably one of the more powerful experiences along with getting a PhD that I've had.
Okay. And how do you do that, Dave? How do you bring Lasallian values into the marketing program? And from my perspective, I think it's something that makes our programs very unique. They're certainly strongly rooted in ethical behavior and concern for the community, concern for social justice. Does that translate into a business course?
Yeah, actually, it fits remarkably well into the world of business and into how people practice and live their lives. I think people tend to miss a lot of the times that business is ultimately people dealing with people, whether it's businesses dealing with customers or businesses dealing with their employees or other stakeholders. And one of the strengths of the Sallian values have to do, first of all, with learning where your spot is, where you do things well, where your strengths fit certain needs and certain other things. And out of that, then comes the strength to sort of develop a life of spiritual values and develop a life of purpose, just beyond the normal idea of having a job and just providing for one's family.
So it's not the world of, was it Mad Men or whatever?
Yeah, the Mad Men, yes. No, it's quite, and what's interesting is when you meet the Lasallian business graduate community, is the magnitude with which they, in their business positions, and we have a very large group of very successful business executives who went to LaSalle, both undergrad and MBA, the magnitude with which that education is reflected in their day-to-day management of their business and how they conduct their particular affairs.
Okay. Now, if we've got some high school students watching at home or parents, and they're thinking of business, studying business, what would one do with a marketing degree? That's, I guess, a question you must get all the time from students and from parents.
Particularly from parents. Want to know sort of what the job prospects are like. Marketing is really how you get the right customer and the right product together. It's a tremendously social field, although part of the work that's done in marketing research can be rather private. But the majority of it has to do with how you get groups of people involved with successfully delivering products and services. And that goes across both profits and nonprofits. I actually began, before going to graduate school, working and devising nonprofits that worked in community action and crisis intervention in rural southwestern Virginia and North Carolina. And in that particular area, that was probably some of the best business training I ever had to do, because my job was not only how you design centers to provide those services, but then how do you promote them? Mm-hmm. How do you get the community and the police and the other stakeholders to support those particular centers?
Okay. What other types of jobs? So you can work in the nonprofits, which is a misnomer because you can actually make a fairly good living in the nonprofit world. Is it just going for work for a marketing arm of a company, or are there other types of careers related to marketing that students could take advantage of?
Several different aspects of the careers. A lot of people think marketing is sales and advertising, but the fact of the matter is that's a relatively small part, but very important part what we do in marketing. Marketers do anything from designing products to designing the types of places people go to get products. Most of us view the supermarket as a nice place where they store goods. We don't understand that a supermarket's a giant behavioral laboratory designed to steer us in certain directions, highlight certain goods, highlight certain types of relationships, and is studied constantly on a day-to-day basis. We tend to view a package on a product as being merely something that stores it, yet the fact of the matter is the package oftentimes is a silent salesman that literally gets your buyer involved with that product just by the wording on it, to the colors on it, to the various types of illustrations we might use on a package that simply shows someone they didn't know something of what they didn't know about the product before.
I was watching one of these Discovery Channel shows, and it was about convenience stores. And it actually got into which way the door opened, because that steered the customer down one aisle or the other. So even the fixtures in the store are part of the marketing process.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's what you just described is called prime real estate in the shelf business.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned sales. We've got a few more minutes left. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what you're envisioning in terms of a specialized sales training program in our marketing department.
We're really excited about this, partly because most people don't understand the magnitude of the world of professional selling. Most of us view selling sometimes as the experiences we might have had in retail stores, we might have had even buying a house or buying a car. We don't understand that there's a giant group, an industry of salespeople that are very complex consultants and problem solvers. And people don't understand the magnitude of it. That particular career actually happens to be the number one feeder of senior vice presidents and presidents of all areas of business, happens to be the sales area. Not so much because they just know the product, but what they really understand are the customers who are involved with those particular products.
Yeah. It's that relationship that
Yes.
you talked about earlier. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say that the job prospects, the other reason we're excited about sales is you can't offshore selling. Sales are ultimately the relationships between the salespeople and the buyers. And in that regard, sales has always had very strong career path possibilities, particularly for young people when they're first getting out.
So they can, it's often the foot in the door
Yes.
for a lot of companies. And then, as you said, and I've seen some of these numbers about the prospects for promotion, it's because you understand how people act and react. And if you're a good salesperson, that means you're really a good psychologist in many ways. Or put it in quotes, air quotes around psychologist.
No, marketing is largely applied psychology, much more so than just business or economics. Marketing has to do with understanding relationships, because ultimately it's building relationships, which is how we build products. It's maintaining them, which is how we build our loyal customer base. And then it's keeping those customers loyal over time by providing products that competitors can't really take away from our buyers.
And one of the features that this program is going to offer is a laboratory setting where you'll be able to watch the interchange between students and will it be other students? Will it be actors? Simulation kind of lab?
Actually, it's all of the above. We bring in grads who actually work as buyers. We work a lot with other students, and as some people are very surprised by, sometimes fellow students make some of the most wicked and the best buyers we can ever hope to find. And what it really does is help students understand what the world of selling is in a way that they've never seen it before. So we find most people, because of the stereotypes they have about what salespeople are, once they get in the selling situation, they begin to think not only can they do this, but they begin to realize the problem solving and the interpersonal relationships. They say, I like to do this. This is sort of what I've done all my life.
Okay. Well, Dave, good luck with that program, and good luck with the marketing program as you go forward in the department. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Joe Marbach. My guest was Dave Jones, the chair of the marketing department in the School of Business. You've been watching Academic Matters. Thank you.